Recently, headlines lit up when America's B-2 stealth bombers roared over Alaska. A dramatic show of force meant to remind rivals of U.S. dominance. Many believed the display was aimed at intimidating Vladimir Putin. But the truth tells a different story.
Many points were agreed to, just a very few that are left. We have a very good chance of getting there. We didn't get there.
There's another aircraft, so imposing, so meticulously engineered, that even Donald Trump, who once flaunted his own gold-plated jet, was left speechless. Equipped with decoys, lasers, and survival systems buried beneath gold trim. Welcome aboard the Flying Kremlin, Vladimir Putin's presidential jet. A fortress so advanced, it doesn't just shield the man inside, it conceals power itself. The jet that silenced Trump. When Donald Trump, a man whose own private jet flaunted gold-plated seatbelts, stood face-to-face with Russia's presidential aircraft, he didn't speak, he stared. Because what he saw wasn't luxury. It was intimidation at altitude, a jet engineered not to impress, but to overpower. The Ilyushin Il-96-300 PU, better known as the Flying Kremlin, is not a plane. It's a fortress that flies. This aircraft doesn't whisper wealth. It broadcasts control. Built from Cold War steel and post-Soviet ambition, it was never designed to transport a man. It was designed to protect a presidency. And not just through armor or encryption, but through something more elusive, uncertainty. Every time the jet rolls onto a runway, it's flanked by copies. Indistinguishable twins, each fueled, staffed, and ready. Not even the pilots know which one carries the Russian president. From the outside, the target is impossible to lock. From the inside, the message is clear. No one will ever know where power lives. Its gold trim, filtered air, and sealed bulkheads aren't extravagance. They're insulation from threats, from surveillance, from collapse. This plane is a moving boundary between vulnerability and state survival. And yet, this is just the exterior. The real story doesn't begin until the doors close and the Flying Kremlin leaves the ground. Because what waits inside isn't just function or comfort. It's something far more calculated and far more revealing. Origins of the Flying Kremlin. The Flying Kremlin wasn't born in Putin's era. Its roots reach back to the final years of the Soviet Union, when the Ilyushin Design Bureau was ordered to create a long-range, wide-body aircraft that could match American engineering. The result was the Il-96, a four-engine jet meant to carry more than passengers. It carried the pride of a collapsing superpower. Its first flight in 1988 came as the Cold War waned, but Soviet ambition hadn't. The Il-96 was built to endure political change, military pressure, and the demands of a country that spanned continents. Strong, adaptable, silent. By the 1990s, it had been modified for presidential use, serving Boris Yeltsin. But under Vladimir Putin, the jet took on a new identity. No longer just transport, it became command center, bunker, and stage, all in one. A new unit appeared in 2005, then another. By 2021, the fleet had grown to 5, each assembled under high security protocols at the Voronezh plant. What makes this fleet so effective isn't just its engineering, it's the uncertainty it creates. Every time Putin flies, several identical jets take off. No markings, no signals, no certainty. Only the president knows which aircraft he'll board. For anyone trying to strike, it's a game of chance they'll never win. At 55 meters long, with intercontinental range and stealth systems layered into its skin, this aircraft doesn't just defy distance, it defies visibility. And in Russia, invisibility is a form of power. A palace in the sky. Inside the Il-96-300 PU, luxury isn't decoration, it's doctrine. This isn't a cabin. It's a command center dressed in gold, a sovereign space built for one man to govern, negotiate, and retreat, while crossing continents above the clouds. The interior speaks in symbols, Russian neoclassical styling, walls in pale tones trimmed with gold, walnut panels polished to near glass, leather seating arranged like a mobile council chamber. Every detail, from embroidered fabrics to state emblems, reinforces authority. But beneath the elegance lies precision. A private office sits at the heart of the jet, sealed behind soundproof doors and linked to encrypted comms. Nearby, briefing rooms allow mid-air strategy sessions, while a dedicated suite with a king-size bed enables long-haul rest across time zones. There's a personal gym, not for comfort, but continuity, a full-service kitchen, staffed and symbolic, a bar, where gestures and deals flow with vodka or silence, even a relaxation room, because ruling nonstop requires strategic pauses. And then there's the medical bay, sterile, staffed, ready for anything from emergencies to unseen threats. This aircraft isn't just airborne, it's autonomous, built to operate independently in case of chemical attacks, pandemics, or war. Even the air is filtered for survival. Gold-trimmed bathrooms hide filtration systems, designed to remove toxins and biological agents. If the outside world collapses, this jet remains functional. Governing doesn't stop at altitude. Every inch reflects one principle: power must travel intact. Because the flying Kremlin isn't just designed to carry a president, it's designed to preserve a state. Defensive and surveillance capabilities. Most jets rely on speed and altitude for safety. Putin's jet does something else entirely. It doesn't evade threats, it erases them. At the center of its defense is a laser-based anti-missile system, fully deployed, not theoretical. While conventional aircraft use flares or chaff to confuse incoming rockets, the Il-96-300 uses precision lasers to disable them mid-flight. It doesn't run, it responds. But missiles aren't the only danger. The aircraft's skin is layered with radar-absorbent materials, making it nearly invisible to tracking systems. Onboard electronic warfare tools can jam enemy communications, scramble radar locks, and flood the air with false signals. What appears on screen may not even be real. Its communication suite is equally hardened. Military-grade satellite links span the globe. Some believe quantum encryption has been integrated, making the aircraft nearly impossible to intercept or hack. It can direct nuclear operations mid-air. This jet isn't just a vehicle, it's a command center wrapped in armor and silence. Then there's a capability almost no other aircraft on Earth claims: underwater survivability. Though unconfirmed, reports suggest the plane is sealed tightly enough to withstand a controlled water landing and maintain life support after submersion, a last line of survival if the sky fails. Every system, air filtration, comms, shielding, is designed to function in a world gone dark. Even its presence is distributed across decoy aircraft, ensuring no one can ever be sure which plane holds the president. This jet doesn't just resist attack, it dissolves certainty. And in modern warfare, uncertainty is the ultimate defense. Flight protocols and presidential decoys. Every time Vladimir Putin travels, the flight operation begins in secrecy, not ceremony. Before the motorcade rolls, before the runway clears, a game of misdirection begins. 3 identical Il-96-300 aircraft are fueled, staffed, and positioned. Each one looks the same. Each one could carry the president. No one knows which does. Not the pilots, not the ground crew, often not even the entourage. The final boarding decision is made moments before departure, and all jets take off together. From a satellite's perspective, or a hostile radar screen, they vanish into ambiguity. It's a high-stakes shell game at 35,000 feet. One jet is real, the others are decoys, but each is treated as if it carries Russia's head of state, and that uncertainty is lethal to anyone trying to strike. Escorting these flights are Russian aerospace forces, Su-35S, MiG-31S, and occasionally 5th-generation Su-57 fighters. These aren't symbolic, they're active deterrents, ready to engage threats in an instant. On the ground, radar stations and air defense systems track the convoy in real time. Even flight plans filed internationally may be deliberately altered without warning. Behind this choreography lies layered redundancy, backup pilots, backup command systems, even rumors of remote override capabilities in case of sabotage. No element of control relies on one link, because in this system, visibility is risk. Predictability is death. This isn't travel, it's theater. A billion-dollar performance designed to confuse, obscure, and ultimately protect the one passenger whose location must never be known. Auras. Senat, Putin's war-proof presidential car. When the flying Kremlin lands, the operation doesn't end. It shifts from the sky to the street. Power transfers from jet engines to wheels, and waiting at the edge of the runway isn't a limousine. It's a machine built for war in the shape of statecraft. The Aura's Senat may resemble a luxury sedan, but beneath its polished frame is a battlefield on wheels. Developed through the 2013 Cortege project, the Senat was Russia's answer to foreign dependency. Unveiled during Putin's 2018 inauguration, it wasn't just a car, it was a statement. Moscow would no longer ride in German-made steel. It would ride in its own. The presidential version is a beast, over 7,000 kilograms of armor, driven by a 4.4-liter twin-turbo hybrid engine, delivering 600 horsepower. In emergencies, a 6.6-liter V12 version boosts that to 850. That power isn't for show, it's for escape. The protection is staggering. VR-10 ballistic shielding can stop sniper and armor-piercing fire. The undercarriage is built to resist mines. The tires, solid core run flats that keep going even when shredded. Inside, it's a command center, leather seating, satellite-linked consoles, independent climate zones, and secure comms. The cabin is hermetically sealed, with its own oxygen supply and air filters to counter chemical or biological attack. And like its airborne counterpart, the Senat doesn't travel alone. Convoys use decoys, routes shift, uncertainty remains constant. Because in Putin's world, safety isn't a condition, it's a strategy. And movement, whether by air or ground, must never reveal where power truly sits. Putin's legacy vehicles and symbolic diplomacy. Beneath the armor and surveillance, Vladimir Putin's personal garage tells a quieter story, one of memory, legacy, and carefully curated image. Between state convoys and coded protocols lie machines that reflect not just power, but identity. Among them is a modest Zaz 968, a Soviet-era car gifted to him by his mother. It was his first. Years later, after selling it to a KGB colleague, Putin tracked it down and brought it home. Not for nostalgia, for continuity, a symbol of who he was before he became the face of the state. Then there's the Gaz-21 Volga, a black saloon from the 1960s that once defined Soviet elegance. In 2006, Putin personally drove George W. Bush in that car during their meeting in St. Petersburg. It wasn't just hospitality, it was a performance. History on wheels wrapped in diplomacy. His Lada Niva 4X4 is another message. Durable, rugged, unpretentious, a declaration that leadership in his eyes isn't always chauffeured in leather. Sometimes it grips the wheel through mud and snow, but when power needs to speak clearly, it does. In 2019, Putin gifted an armored Aura's Senat to Kim Jong-un, a vehicle as much a diplomatic handshake as a threat. A machine wrapped in message. We share armor, we share allegiance. These aren't just cars, they're instruments of narrative control. Each one, parked or gifted, broadcasts something deeper, that even the smallest machine, when chosen deliberately, can echo across borders. It looks like a jet, but it moves like a message. Every decoy, every escort, every sealed bulkhead says the same thing. Power travels wrapped in mystery. If this jet tells us anything, it's this. Putin doesn't just fly to stay alive, he flies so you never see him coming.